Minutes from March 13th.
Motion to approve.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Who's here from the audit committee? Raise your hand.
I think just,
All right, the rest of you all can leave the room. We gotta review the draft on our accounts here. Did everyone get a copy of the executive summary?
you do not have that.
I don't think I have that.
So,
Thank you.
so executive summary is just a shortened version of the financial statements, helps us just focus really on the statements themselves. There's a lot of good information in all those reports. There's an MD&A section in the financial statement that walks through a number of factors that are going on with the organization, and lots of good information, but we provide the executive summary just to kind of focus on specific numbers. So we completed our audit. We've got a clean opinion in the report, no modifications there. So that's good. That's what you're looking for. And we can jump into the first page here, the summarized statement of net position in the executive summary. So here's your balance sheet basically, and we have comparative statements so you can see where you were at last year compared to where you were at this year. And really the loans are kind of the big thing this year. The microloan program has expanded quite a bit. Issued $1.8 million worth of microloans this year, so quite a bit of activity outstanding with those. Your receivables are actually up quite a bit and that's just really the grant activity. It's just some outstanding balances in the grant activity is a big piece of that, but the loan balances are up for the microloans mostly. Your allowance, you're still estimating an allowance based on that. If we look at the bottom here where it talks about the loans receivable, allowance for doubtful accounts, still kind of building up that history when it comes to the microloans. It's very new and a new line of business. You're estimating 15% of the balance is an allowance for that. Haven't had to write anything off yet, but continuing to evaluate those things. Okay, about 42 loans, so not bad this year. Okay, one of the things in the liability section, just to point it out, compensated absences, there was a new accounting standard. You adopted it, just required you to record sick time, which hasn't, as a liability, so any accumulated sick time has been recorded this year compared to last year. And so that was a new standard by the accounting standards. And then down in that position, you have a restricted balance, which is really, you received a state grant called GAIN for agricultural loans, and just under the terms of that agreement, you set aside the balance of those dollars. Those are issued as loans. And then overall, your net position increased $1.6 million. We can take a look on the next page, which is the summary of revenues, expenses, and change in net position. We can see where that 1.6 million increase comes from, or how that comes together. Okay. So again, comparative amounts, and at the top we have our revenues, bond-free fees. Down a little bit, you had 2 new bonds this year. Last year you had some bigger activity there. The U of R bond that was issued. Your fees were pretty consistent year to year. Interest income is up. A couple of factors here, just you're investing more in your U.S. Treasuries where the rates are a lot better, and so you've seen more interest income coming in there. Last year's number though is also a little bit is offset, and if you look down at the bottom here, the write-off of the old Trillium investment is impacting that number. So you wrote off those investments made a determination about the value on those and wrote those off last year. So that's actually impacting the prior year number there. And then we see the big increase for the microloan grants. So all those grants that you issued, or all those loans that you issued, plus some expenses are being reimbursed through the ARPA money coming from the county for the microloan program. So that just increased for the increased activity there. Program expense includes your microloan activity, so some increases for that. A big piece of that increase is the update to your allowance for doubtful accounts. Again, it's about a standard 15% of the microloan balance. So the increase in the microloan balance resulted in an increase in that allowance. So about $270,000 is in that program expense for the current year. And that's kind of the big impact there. Okay. And then, so overall, an increase of 1.6 million. So a bigger amount than last year, and net position $9 million. So the IDC had a very good year this year, and remaining in good financial condition. I do point out we also completed a audit of the federal dollars. So whenever you receive more than $750 or spend more than $750,000 in a year, you're required to have this separate audit. Specifically against the federal dollars. We completed that with no findings or exceptions. So clean report on that as well. So that was very good.
Wow. We're gonna have to accept this audit.
Happy to answer any questions folks have on the numbers.
This is better than Dallas.
No questions.
Any questions for John?
None over here.
Well, John, we appreciate you.
Yeah,
Good. Next is that we have to, we want to accept this so we can move it to the full board. Our recommendation at the committee here, so we need to move that motion.
Motion.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all right. How about the single audit for the eight? Oh, you did that, right?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, do we have to have a motion to accept that too, or no?
Yeah, we have a separate
Yeah.
item, yeah.
Yeah,
Motion.
Yeah. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, there's no, changes, right, Barry, in terms of, the, committee charter?
Correct, no changes.
All right. We're not recommending any, so we need a motion to recommend the full board to readopt the audit committee charter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And, policies and procedures are the same, right?
Correct, no changes to these
Okay, no
policies.
changes. Need a motion to recommend, readopt the code of ethics,
Motion.
internal control policies, internal control procedures, and the whistleblower policy with no changes.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we need a motion to adjourn the audit committee.
Motion.
Second.